What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we do our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency world. Because crypto, especially during this next leg up, should be an enormous opportunity, and you guys are all here for it. So, welcome along on the journey. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Just having a great time hanging out with you guys during this lull of a bear market, during the altcoin bear market, waiting for that altcoin season. But where we're going to use this opportunity to use crypto as a wealth creation tool and then use some real world assets like real estate, oil and gas, whatever have you, maybe some like racehorses. We have this friend that had a deal where you could invest in racehorses and get like something I think it was stupid, like 30 or 40% cash on cash. It was ridiculous. But like we're going to be using assets like that for wealth preservation. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, we're just kind of sitting in this lull time. And it's kind of funny or, I didn't really believe in this when I first got into crypto. In fact, I give credit to Randy Halarski because he was the one that kind of pointed it out to me. But man, every time we have a full moon, you can get, it's like almost like you could guarantee a pullback on the price chart, and not just Pulse and the Pulse chain ecosystem. Go look at like Ethereum and Bitcoin and AVAX or Phantom or whatever ecosystem you want to dive into. It seems like every time there's a full moon, even if we're having some bullish momentum or some price movement upward, during the full moon time, we always see this correction. And it could be something as small as 5%, but I think today we got like maybe almost 10% on some of the assets on our ecosystem. And it's just kind of funny how that always plays out. And when I first got into crypto, I would hear Randy talking about like, man, that's just like a once in a while coincidence. And then like now that I've been in there, following it because of him, I've been following it every single time. It is quite fascinating to me. In fact, I was going to DCA, guys. True story. I was going to do a little DCA at the end of last week. And then I noticed, I can't remember where I saw it. I think I probably saw it on Twitter. Someone had posted the full moon cycles. And I was like, I'm going to copy that and save it. And sure enough, there was a full moon today. It's tonight, or tonight for us, right? Like, I don't know, depends on what part of the world you're in. And sure enough, we're getting wrecked. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I saved my DCA for this little price drop, because now I'm like, I can get a little bit extra Pulse, a little bit extra Pulse X or Ink, whatever you're after, right? Whatever fits your fancy. But like, and even if you want to like some blue chips like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so like, yeah, it's fascinating, Dane. I just, I don't know why it is. I know Randy used to say because people tend to get a little bit more nuttier during the full moon. He used to work in the psych ward in the hospital. That's what he was as a nurse for like freaking, I don't know, 15 years before he got into crypto or something. And he said during the full moon time, it would just get insane in there. And he said, that's also like, if you look up, it's when the most arrest happened. So people getting arrested, the most crime, it's really, why does the moon have this effect on humans? Like I'm genuinely asking, and you guys know in the chat, I would love you to comment on this. But why does the moon have this like negative effect on humanity? Like I don't feel negative during the full moon. Like I feel great today. I don't understand why it happens.
I mean, I've looked at some of this stuff too, and honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was like a bunch of garbage,
Right.
What is all this? But it does seem to be it's pretty uncanny, and I think some of the stuff I've seen comes down to like energy and lunar stuff, and how we're all like, I think one of the things that people discount all the time is how, we really are connected to the earth and to the cycles and to all these things. It's an energy thing where your body literally can feel and sense different energies, and you act in different behaviors because of that. I mean, for instance, one of the things I've been doing more recently, I did it this morning. I went and stood out on the grass, took my shirt off. I stood in the sun for a few minutes. I did some visualizations,
grounding,
like being connected into the earth and having the sun on you, and like you're taking in all that good energy, and then programming your brain as well to manifest the things that you want. And you feel freaking awesome after. You feel
Yeah,
incredible. And that's
you do.
because of all that stuff and how it works with your body. We're all energetic beings. And so yeah, it's fascinating how this stuff affects the markets as well.
It's funny. I just got back into Wim Hof breathing with a meditation after. And I did it today, and it was phenomenal. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I kind of got disconnected from this, because I used to do it every day. And it was same kind of ideology. I mean, from all the oxygen that you're bringing into your body, all the outside energy. I mean, it's an amazing experience when you do it correctly and you do it on a consistent basis. And it helps relieve stress and everything else that, you might be having in your life at that time. And it helps clarity. When you go out and you kind of connect to earth, God, right? You kind of get some clarity. But I mean, but why is the full moon mess us up, man? It's just kind of funny to me. Why does that wreck us?
Right? I don't know.
Is it
I'm
like,
not sure on
I
that
know
one.
the tides, like, if you in the ocean, that gets affected by the full moon, and it has I don't know, it has I guess the gravity or the pull on it. I don't know why it does it with the tides, like, or yeah, is a full, maybe because we're made out of water, we're 80% water or something like that. And maybe
Yeah.
like the way the full moon affects the ocean, it affects us. I don't know. Like I said, you guys know this information. Please drop it in the chat. I'm genuinely just curious, like what causes it. And it's kind of cool in one sense, because if you are looking to DCA, right? Like you're doing your monthly DCA, because you get your full moon. I think isn't it monthly? You have a full moon monthly, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
you
new
have the
moon.
new moon and
The
the
new
other
moon's
one.
bullish, usually.
What? Yeah, I think you have a new moon and I can't remember the other one, but you have them both monthly. I think they run like every couple of weeks or
So,
so.
like, it's funny now. I think, why haven't I been planning my DCAs around that, like, for the last year? Like, even though, like, even if you're not even DCing the bottom, like, you could have caught those corrections in the full moon. It's just funny how yeah, it's, you can plan your DCAs around this full moon cycles to get yourself an extra 10%. Imagine if you're DCAing Dane every single month, right? And you're catching an extra 10% than normal every single month on the regular. Like, that adds up to be quite a bit. It adds up to be a lot over the course. It compounds.
Let's go in and I'm curious. Let's go in and actually look at it.
TradingView, did you know this? TradingView has a full moon cycle like chart you could pull up and utilize with your TA.
Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't got the Pulse Chain tickers loaded up in TradingView.
Yeah, I had a subscription to it about 2 years ago, and I haven't fired it back up. When I was learning some basic TA back in the day in this mastermind I was in, but I haven't fired it back. I should fire it back up, because I think the Pulse Chain tickers are available in and out.
Yeah, or
So,
you can get them in there some way. I've seen that. I
yeah.
just haven't done it. Yeah. But let's look. Like let's go ahead and pull up. I'm curious. We'll do some basic stuff. Okay, let me share my screen. And let's look. We'll look at like the ink chart, for instance. This will be interesting. I'll pull the phases over here so we can see it. And let's look. I mean, we'll just work backwards. So if we go and we look, let's go and look at the full moon. So the full moon should theoretically be when you see dips. Full
Oh,
moon.
yeah.
Let's start with those. Let's see for 2024. Okay. So, oh, I see how this works. Okay. That's for 2024. It's August right now. This calendar I pulled up sucks. Let me find a different one. Hold on.
I could probably pull up the one I had pulled off Twitter. Let me see if I can
Yeah, do
find
you
it.
have a good one there? Let me see if
I can give you the dates, assuming that I went backwards. Let me see where it's at. Assuming that it went backwards. But it is really fascinating to me. You.
this. I just want a list. Give me
the full moon. Yeah.
give me the list here.
I had.
This shouldn't be hard to find.
It. And if you guys know in the chat, go ahead and drop it in there. Feel free to comment, help us along with this data to try to figure this out. Yeah, why can't I find it now?
Okay, here we go. I found a list. All right. So full moon, January 25th. Let's go and look. And once again, the full moons are when you should see dips. So let's see. Let's just go and see. So January 25th is right here. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't tend to be, I mean, it's this little tiny red candle. So January 25th right there.
They say the dip can happen 5 days leading in or 5 days after.
Okay. So yeah, let's take a range. I mean, you kind of saw the dip finish here and kind of, I mean, this was kind of flat during this one. I guess you could theoretically say, here's the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a dip here.
It dipped, it ran flat, and even kind of dipped a tad bit lower, it looks like, before it pulled out and started having green candles.
Yeah. February 24th is this one right here. So, I mean, not a lot of activity in general there.
Little bit.
A little, but like, I mean,
there's definitely not green candles on the full moon day. I mean, afterwards there was.
I mean, it's green on the 24th by a tiny little bit. And it's red leading into it. That's interesting. Let's look at March 25th is going to be right here. It's this big green candle, and then it led to a bunch of red.
Yeah, followed by Wreck City.
Yeah. April 23rd is right here. And then once again, followed by a good amount of red.
Oh, that was Wreck City.
May 23rd is right here. But I mean, like this whole chart during this time frame we're looking at was a downtrend. Like same thing, downtrend. But even before, like here's a big downtrend. Like, you know, I don't. To be fair though, this April 23rd, here's a big downtrend, and then it went sideways in the next moon cycle, then another downtrend. Let's see if that pattern continues to play out. June 21st. Whoops, I missed it. June 21st, right here. I don't know how much do you really want to attribute? As you had a downtrend leading into it, and then we just kind of ran sideways.
Yeah.
June 21st. Yeah, it was right here. It was a green candle.
Yeah.
Then you had the July 21st. Let's see, July 21st right here. That marked the top of this rally, and then you had more downward action thereafter.
Wrecked for a month.
August 19th. And then today is August 19th. So it's it's interesting. I mean, we looked at just those few data points. You had a lot of red after the moons, at least just the few that we looked at. We can go and do a lot more exhaustive look here if we really wanted to, but I think that's probably good enough. You know, do you get something like, it's going to be interesting to see. Do you get something like this type of move here? I don't think we get this big a move down.
I don't either. I think you might see another 1 or 2 red candles from it. And yeah, maybe it hits that the top of that liquidity right there.
Yeah, we hit this. That wouldn't surprise me. How
Yeah,
big of a dip is that?
And then it goes.
I mean, that's like a 15% dip from here, 15 to 20-ish%. If you hit some of this over here at 117, you're 32% dip. I mean, if you really want to get down to the bottom here of this liquidity, you're 50% dip. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of targets. I know that Soda Chronicles account is calling like 120 to 115 a token on ink. I mean, you look at like
$20.
Yeah, it's like a 30-ish% dip down to there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We got a pretty good red candle going on the daily today. And it'll be interesting to watch this next week. Watch this next month. You know what I mean? Watch this next month, kind of see how we play out. But man, it feels like this month is ideally kind of the last shaking out before we potentially head back up. Who knows? But also, like, you're running out of it feels to me like you're getting seller exhaustion in a lot of respects. You know,
Me too.
like this whole area, like this isn't a huge downtrend. You know what I mean? Because even if we measure from like right up here in this zone down to where we're at right now, I take it back. It's a 50% dip. But I mean, like, you see a lot of seller exhaustion already. The good news is on some of these charts, like, we haven't gone clear back to the bottom, like with Pulse. So something like Ink or Pulse X is holding up better. It'll be really interesting to see if these continue to be two of the best charts as far as the RH tickers go.
I was watching Hans yesterday. He did a stream, was about an hour and a half long. It was great. He went through a bunch of charts. He had pulled up the Pulse to Pulse X chart, or Pulse X to Pulse, right? Like, and then measured it in Pulse, right? And he's calling a top on it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's calling a top, and he thinks it's going to roll over right in this area. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see Pulse gain on Pulse X because we haven't seen that really yet. All we've seen is Pulse X gain on Pulse. And so Pulse hasn't really gained on much of anything except for Hex. So it's going to be very interesting to see the tides change if it does. But Hans is calling it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I've seen Water Above do the full moon technicals. I can't follow Waters Above just because he's always calling for like doomsday, and then like there's like 2 or 3 times where like he thought like everything was gonna get wrecked, doomsday, like end of the world type stuff, and he was completely wrong. And so like it's hard for me to follow him because he keeps like trying to like call for like, you know, fear porn, is that what they call it? And he just keeps putting that out there, and I can't follow people like that, Frank. Like, yeah. And he's not very, in my opinion, he's not very positive, opinionated towards the Richard Heart ecosystem. Dude, he's an XRP guy, and he has flooded our stuff multiple times. So I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm done following you.
Yeah, agreed. A broken clock is right twice a day type of thing. That's how I feel.
Yeah, like me calling the bottom every day. I can call the bottom here every day. Eventually, I'm going to be right.
Exactly, right.
I'll be right eventually. It's like, okay, you know.
Yep, agreed. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I feel apart from a huge Bitcoin dip or some more black swan stuff, man, it feels like, I mean, you look at the cycles. If we're gonna follow what previous cycles have done, we should, we should theoretically finish the shakeout sometime this month, early next, and then head into greener pastures next month. So we'll see.
Altcoins in general should.
Yeah.
With the altcoin potential top of this altcoin season, the next altcoin season potentially being in December, January-ish, And then you'd have a pullback, and then it doesn't mean the bull run's over. The bull run's not over. Going into 25, the altcoin top should be somewhere in the middle of 25. So like, we'll see how it plays out and if that stays true. But our ecosystem has followed along, and it stayed true for us all the way up to this point, where like the beginning of the year, that was like supposed to be a altcoin season, and we had one, right? Pulse did a 5x. PulseX did like a 7 to 9x. Ink did something stupid. It was like a 15 or 17x. It was absolutely ridiculous off the bottom there. I wish I had picked up a lot more ink in that last run, but hey, what are you going to do? I was farming it, but I wasn't buying it, and I didn't sell it either right at the top, which like I should have probably. But yeah, we'll see what happens this next go around when things start moving. So it'll be very, very interesting.
Yeah. I'm with D Nice on this one. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to. I feel like Waters Above is like Wells only talking. Like they talk as if there's something there, and they're making a lot of sense, but really just talking in circles. And everyone's like, "We don't know what you're talking about." No
word salad. It's just word salad.
About,
there's a couple guys on Twitter too that are part of that kind of the anti-pulse chain, what they like building on pulse chain stuff. Don't want to really mention who they are, but there's guys in there who will word salad their anger and hate, and none of it, like if you ever tune in, it just none of it really makes sense. It is just this word salad. It's just like, oh my God, you guys are just ridiculous. And yeah,
agreed. Yeah, this is great, Oliver. Absolutely. So if you're looking at the Elliott waves, theoretically, we've gone through the first wave up, the second wave back down, and the third wave is what we're waiting for. And the third wave is where you make, the majority of your money. So that's the good news, is if you go back and you look at how well we performed during this last pump, theoretically, we should do more X's than that this next go around. The charts have largely reset across the board, and yeah, we're looking position for a nice third wave up. So I'm really excited. Corey and I were talking in the green room before this. And I mean, you're looking at something like Ink that did a 20x before in the first wave move up. If this is a third wave, something like a freaking 30, 40, 50, 60x move is not like, it's not that crazy to consider. When you look
at we're not financial advisors, but
agreed, right. But if the Elliott wave pattern plays out, then the third wave does something like that. Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see if that plays out, and if so, how so.
In the PulseX and Ink chart are lined up in a very nice way where that could easily happen. It's just it's setting up the next move very, very nicely, more than the Pulse chart. Pulse will probably be fine. I don't think you're going to get the 100x off of Pulse. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we do get 100x off of Pulse, but like, I would anticipate, anywhere from a 10 to a 50x off of Pulse, depending on the circumstances of the events going on at the time. For example, RH's hearing. Does that get dismissed? Is he streaming again? Stuff like that, right? Is ETH going parabolic? We need ETH to go parabolic. We're all just ETH Matsies here. I don't know if you guys know that. We're just ETH Matsies. Shout out to Crypto7. He taught me that. But like, we need these things in line for the Spear Pulse to really do its move. And to do that, if you guys want Pulse to do a 50x. And if Pulse does a 50x, I have no clue what PulseX is going to do, because it's going to be parabolic, what Ink's going to do, because it's going to be parabolic, and what to be honest with you, some of these meme coins too that are on Pulse chain, stuff like SolidX, stuff like HOA, stuff like, the Dickwood Butt, DWB, the other stuff that, that has some community behind it, some of the 9-inch stuff. I got a buddy who was really big at a 9-inch up. I was hanging out with him yesterday, and he's, there's a community over there. There's definitely a community that believe in that stuff. And so if Pulse goes and does a 50x on that next wave, holy crap, hold on to your shorts, guys. It's going to be a nice move for the entire ecosystem. Now, I'm mainly in the blue chips, but I have a lot in PulseX and Ink. So like, make him go. I would love nothing more but the spear to do a 50x. Holy crap, it would be amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, and this is great point, Oliver. Make sure that you're taking profits at some point during this next move up is what I'd say, especially if we get a true third wave where you're getting something like a 10 to a 50x on the RH tickers and potentially more on the others. Make sure to take some chips off the table. Theoretically, we should have. I mean, I'm no chart expert, but I'll show you guys some of the things I've been picking up from people that are smarter than us. If you look at
why you pull that up, that Dane, that's just good market making. Good market making is taking some profits when things are overheated and there's a lot of liquidity coming in for some retail or just some euphoria happening, and then buying that dip, supporting price when it's having the correction. That is just great market making. And that's what, the guys who've been around and understand this stuff at a deep level should be doing. The guys with bigger bags should be doing that. It's healthy market making.
Or even if you have small bags, you don't want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I
take
agree.
Some chips. Yeah, take some chips. But I mean, you're looking at my computer.
We can't see your screen if you have something pulled up.
It's being slow. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, when I'm streaming, for some reason, I don't know why, like my deck screener, it lags.
There we go. Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at, right now we did our first wave move up. We did our second wave pull back right here. For this third wave, I mean, you can see how big this wave is in relationship to the first one here. And once again, I know this is just a rough drawing, but the third wave, it goes to show the idea that your third wave should be your biggest move up. And gosh, it's fascinating to go back and see on the price charts how the periods of up. In fact, I was looking at it with one of the guys in our community before this call. The period of up last time lasted 2 months, and then the bleed out has been 6. And so, you and I have talked about this a lot, Corey. The bleed out isn't a big deal if you're taking profits looking to buy back. And
great.
In fact, you're excited because you want better pricing.
Right.
And,
you just support the price.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll be taking a lot of profits this next rally up. That'll be good.
Yep. You and me both, my friend. You and me both. In a good way. Like I said, in a good way. We are not leaving the ecosystem. We're not like going out and buying Lambos. I mean, Dane might buy a Lambo. I don't know. But
won't be Lambo time yet. Not yet.
It's not. The market cycle is not over. It's not over until 2025. And depending on where altcoin season lands in 25, one could argue, I've learned this from Sami, that you could take profits in altcoins and go into Bitcoin and Ethereum and still make some gains. I mean, nothing crazy or parabolic, but a lot of times you can still, I think he was saying 3 out of the 4 times of all the cycles, you could have gone into Bitcoin and ETH and still made gains. There was one time where the altcoin season, the last one, came later there's a tad bit later in the cycle, and you were unable to make gains in BTC or Ethereum. But I do know this: when BTC tops out, when I go back into crypto, it will be only BTC when it hits bottom. I learned that the hard way. That's what I'm doing next time around, and I will hold and keep accumulating BTC all the way up to about 6 months before the next halving, which is when things start getting interesting again. And you start having that little altcoin pre-halving season. It's nothing crazy, and a lot of the stuff didn't go crazy. The only thing that kind of did was Solana a little bit, but like 98% of all crypto was just like a little bump in the road, right? I was like, came up and came back down, but still, it'd be nice to be in by that time. But up to that point, man, you could just stay in BTC all the way up. I mean, this last cycle or the cycle that we're in right now, you could have just rode BTC for the entirety of since the FTX crash and done really well for yourself. And when you came into the RH ecosystem, you'd have had 3, 4, 5 times more money. So
agreed.
Interesting lesson learned through this cycle that I will be practicing on this next go around. So, which also tells me why there's so like why BTC maxis are the way they are. Like, why are BTC and ETH maxis the way they are? They don't want to like play around with other stuff because like I see why. You get wrecked playing around the other stuff if you're not doing it at the appropriate time. So I can really see their point of view. Yeah. So interesting, analysis from this cycle that I've learned.
Agreed. Yeah, that's good. The one thing I did wrong the last bull run is keeping my initial on most coins. And let me tell you, as a living hell on the way down and on the way up was worse. Sleepless nights. Yeah. I don't plan on keeping anything. Everything will go into stables during this next move up, in my opinion.
Yep.
And absolutely. The nice thing is if you're managing risk, so like the other side of the coin is people say, well, you don't get left behind. Don't get left behind. Gosh, I mean, you can manage risk however you want. The nice thing is, even if you're wrong, right, you're not going to go broke taking profit. So even if you're not quite right, well, it's fine. You're not going to time the tops and bottoms perfect, and you don't need to. If you can generally, though, time these decent, well, you could do all right. You could do just fine.
You could do just fine. And how about this, Dane? How about not paying taxes when we take profits? I mean, obviously, you guys know we're out in Puerto Rico, but we have been working on a really cool trust with a financial advisor. Me and Dane are not financial advisors, nor do we play one on TV, but we have teamed up with one who is very knowledgeable in the investment space with real estate, with a lot of different asset classes. And the way in real estate, there's what's called a 1031, which is really cool. I'll explain what this is, guys. This is where you can sell a property, a real estate property, right? And then you could go into a like-kind property and not pay any taxes or capital gains on that first sale. So imagine something like that, but instead of going to a like-kind asset, you could go into any asset. You could sell that property and then go put it in crypto and not pay taxes on this sale here. Well, that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, obviously you're not taking it out and buying Lambos, but maybe you want to preserve your wealth. What we talk about a lot on this show, right? Wealth preservation. I mean, it's one thing to create wealth, but man, it takes a whole nother skill set. I'm telling you guys, because I've learned the hard way, to preserve that wealth. It's a whole nother skill set that you got to learn. Well, this trust will help a lot with that, where you can sell crypto in 2025 or maybe even 24, wherever we see some runs going. And you're like, you know what? I want to offset some of this and buy some real estate. Or I want to invest with maybe what you guys got going on. And maybe we have some cool little deal structures going on at the time. We've always got stuff coming by our plate. We're just not too interested a lot yet, but we will be. But it would be cool to go into the, and buy like a piece of an apartment complex and not pay taxes on that crypto sale. And then when it comes time in the bear market, the bottom of the bear, and you exit out of this real estate deal, you can sell your interest sometimes. Or there's ways a lot of times you can negotiate this getting in. But in the meantime, you have the passive income, the price appreciation, everything else that's coming along with that deal. You get out of that deal at the bottom of the bear, right? When we have another FTX type event, there's always an event that will make Bitcoin crash to its bottom, and you go back into crypto. Imagine doing that without paying taxes, guys. Imagine that. And so that's what we're working on right now. Or there's some things we're ironing, out with the financial advisor. In fact, I think we meet with him today again, don't we, Dane? I think it's today or tomorrow. I can't remember, but yeah, guys, so stay tuned in on that, because we are seriously passionate about not only creating wealth in crypto, but also preserving that wealth, for our family, right? But this is the idea. Unless you guys want to just go out and buy a bunch of Lambos and be stupid and spend all your money and then end up in a jail in a third world country and you don't have any money to bail yourself out, I mean, that's an option too, I guess. I guess that's an option if you want to be irresponsible with the money that you made in this asset class. But I feel like you guys watching our show are on a different wavelength than that. So be responsible with that money. Take care of your family. Take care of yourself. And it's very important, to play these cycles the correct way and preserve that wealth. Like I said, I've learned the hard way. I've made a lot of money in my life, and I have done some, irresponsible investing, irresponsible just wealth preservation type stuff. I mean, I've done well, and my lifestyle is great, but I could have done a lot better. And there's a lot of lessons learned through my entrepreneurial journey. And it's like anything else. I mean, you learn, you take your lumps, you take a step back, you analyze the situation, you go, okay, how do I not make that mistake again? It was my fault that I made the mistake, not the guy who I invested in. It was my fault, right? And so there's a lot of things to be said about that. And so wealth preservation will be something I'll be really focusing on this time around. So,
yep, agreed. This is cool. Yeah, some great real estate out in Bali. I think you could buy stuff out there for like $500 is what I hear. I think it's like almost free.
Get out of here.
In Bali, it's like you can go live out there for almost free on the dollar. Yeah, it's crazy. Some of my friends are out there right now. They're enjoying Bali. Yeah, it's cheap.
If you're like, especially if you're kind of like on a spiritual journey, it's supposed to be a great place. You're big into meditation and that kind of stuff. Like I would visit there and hang out for a month or two.
Yep, absolutely. One thing to consider too, when you take profits in crypto and you move that money to real estate or whatever asset class you want, and then if you sell that thing and move it back to crypto, both of those are taxable events. So you get taxed twice. So you want to make sure you have a plan so that that doesn't occur. And like I said, the product that Corey and I have been working on makes it so that you don't have a taxable event during either of those. And your taxes, you can defer those taxes and be very strategic about when you're going to pay the piper. So we're really excited to be talking about that more. That'll be cool.
Piper shit. I'll tell you that he did not risk. He did not come in and risk the bullet with me. So why do I gotta pay him the bullet afterwards? No, man, I'm not doing
Seriously.
it. I am not doing it. And you guys don't have to either. There's ways out there. It don't even have to be through our trust, but do some research, do some due diligence, and figure out how to kind of preserve this wealth that you guys are building out in crypto. Because as we know, crypto goes parabolic. You can make some serious gains. And I'm telling you what, it's one thing to become a millionaire. It's another thing to keep the million. You have to become a millionaire here first before you become a millionaire here. It's the lesson, one of the life lessons I've learned. And it takes a lot of self-development and understanding of how money works and how to preserve that money if you want to keep the millionaire here. But it starts here and here, guys. That's where it starts at. So
oh, this is cool. Oliver says, okay, I was exaggerating. Villa
I thought so, sir. You got me excited. I was buying real estate.
70K, I mean, 70K, daily rent's 150. I mean, Oliver is saying he thinks you can make like 30K a year on a 70K purchase. That's great. Those are huge numbers in real estate. Those are great numbers. Yeah.
Huge Oliver, numbers. You might have put Bali on the map for me during this bull run. We'll see.
Yep.
You might have put it on the map for me.
So lots of cool opportunities coming up. Hang in there, make it to next year. And gosh, I think Buck put it well where he said, make your buys now and a plan for being able to do something with the gains in 6 months. So, where do you want to be in 6 months? What can you do about it now? And then being patient.
It's quite remarkable that we're saying now, like, end of the year or 6 to 8 months. Like I remember when we were talking about some of this stuff years ago. We're like, 25, we got 2 years. Like Like, that's how close we are, guys. We are right on the verge of this stuff. Really, kind of going parabolic. I mean, you look at the global liquidity index, it is moving up. I know people are screaming recession, but I was listening to Sami today, man, and he had making a lot of good points about the inverse yield curve and global liquidity index. I watched his video from this morning, guys, if you're interested in this. But it is playing out where in 2025 is where that pullback in the economy should transpire or come. It'd be really remarkable. Think about this for a minute. Think about this. You ride this crypto bull run up, make legacy wealth, right? You take profits. The economy just gets completely slaughtered, meaning other asset classes like real estate, oil and gas, business opportunities gets crushed. You take those gains, tax-free, invest in the opportunity of a lifetime.
Tax-deferred.
Tax-deferred. It is tax-deferred. Thank you. It's tax-free at the time, though.
Right.
At the time, you don't pay any taxes. That's what my mind went to. And you get to go in these assets without paying taxes and buy like literally the opportunity of a lifetime in 2025, maybe 26. Who knows? I'm not sure where it's all going to happen now. But you imagine that happening, guys. You guys use crypto as a serious wealth creation tool. And then not only that, you're preserving your wealth by going in and buying the wrecked economy, but you're also now getting some wealth creation there too, because you're buying such a wrecked economy, right? And so it's interesting to think about, and a lot of indicators, a lot of things are kind of pointing to that. Does that mean it's going to happen? No. We're not financial advisors. We're not CPAs. We're not any of this stuff. But we do a lot of data analysis, and we look into these things, and there's a lot of guys smarter than us that we follow and listen to about this stuff. So keep your heads up, guys. It's looking very nice. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, create opportunity, become an entrepreneur, create value to the world, bring in more money, DCA, mark your calendars. I'm going to mark my calendar, even though it wasn't quite perfect when we were looking at their name. It'd be funny to look at other assets too. It'd take all day to do it. I'm going to mark my calendar from now on. And I'm going to start planning my DC. If I'm DCA'd around the full moon, you know what, Dane? I wonder when it's a new moon, plan your sales. I wonder if that.
Yeah, maybe we go dive into that one more tomorrow. We could take a look at that.
More interesting. If you're in a bull run, do you have more parabolic green candles on the full moon, giving you like an extra 10% the DC? Like if you're DCing out over a course of 4 months or something, or 3 months, like you're like, okay, I'm going to put my DCAs on these days. Like I wonder if that would actually pan out. Interesting stuff. But either way, so
it's interesting to consider. Cool, guys. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you smash the likes and subscribes on your way out. And with that, have a great day, guys.
Peace, guys. That was a good